What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Paul Carrick Brunson, and I want to welcome you to not the 10th, not the 11th, but the 12th Mentor Monday. It is official, and we are in the building. What's up, everybody? Amber, Carla, Dominique. Yes, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight is going to be yet again another crazy night, just great night. I think the last session that we saw with Marshawn Evans was incredible, and I think this night is going to equal, if not top that, because we've got an incredible duo in terms of some guests. But before we get into that, I want to say a couple things, right? First off, everybody knows that this is about good information, this is about good people, and this is about good vibes. And to help with those vibes, I often bring my good friend Red Stripe with me. And I just want to know who is actually drinking, because what I find is that I'm like one of the few folks drinking. Everybody's got like water or tea. I know tea, like green tea, is real hot, but I want to know who has a real drink in their hand right now. All right, Daya. All right, she's got a beer. I like that. Shanika says me. Dominique says no, a tea. Wow, George Williams has a scotch. That's a professional right there. Yes. No. Okay. All right. Good. 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 I see some drinks. Okay. I'm not mad if you're not drinking, but I like those who are drinking because to be like real, just keeping it real with everybody, part of the reasons why I love this gives me an opportunity to drink in my house but not drink alone. So this is a good thing. I can drink in my house but not drink alone. I can drink with a couple hundred people. Right now it's 134 people I'm drinking with, which is really cool. So that allows me to do that. But also I get the opportunity to talk to incredible people. Like there's nothing better than this. And tonight we have two incredible people. I'm going to introduce them a little bit later, but this is really special because we get to dig in and learn the secrets of putting together winning content. So if you are watching right now and you are thinking about creating a blog or have a podcast or a web series, or you're filming, right? You're trying to do shorts or long movies, whatever content that you're looking to produce, we have the two people who quite possibly could be some of the best on the planet with regards to creating content over a long period of time. So we'll be learning from them. So get ready, get your questions ready. We are going to be making sure that we get video questions from everybody addressed. All right, so before we do that introduction, there is one big announcement that I'm going to make. Are you guys ready for this big announcement? This is a big one. Are you guys ready? I don't think you're ready. Nah. All right. Christine says, "Hey, yeah." All right. Dr. Renee says, "Yeah, she's ready." All right. Amber says she's ready. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Carla's like, "Yeah, let's hear it." Okay. Okay. Yeah. Carla's okay. All right. I see. Okay. Okay. I get it. You guys are ready. I can see it. Okay. Here's the big announcement. So last session, we mentioned something about us trying to put together people as a result of LaDonna, who is a strong Mentor Monday community member. I don't think LaDonna has missed one session over the last year, but we've been trying to figure out how to create more community with Mentor Monday, because as we grow, right, every session we have more and more people join us. You can look at the chat room right now. You can see that the questions are moving so quick, sometimes it's hard to connect. So we were thinking about that. LaDonna came up with a pretty good idea. And then on top of that, Ella, who's the producer, and myself, we were sitting here brainstorming, and I'm thinking about what are some of the reasons why I think my business has grown over the last few years. And then I started to think about, what are some of the reasons why other people who I know have created businesses over the last few years, how have they grown so quickly? Idea: mastermind groups. And we, over the last 4 weeks, have been thinking, struggling, debating on how we create or how we can facilitate mastermind groups. And we have come up with the idea. So my big announcement tonight, and boom, Ella has it on the screen, is we are officially introducing the Mentor Monday Mastermind. Yes, it's going to be crazy. All right, so here's what's happening with the Mentor Monday Mastermind, and I'm like ridiculously excited about this. Anyone who is watching can participate, okay? This is for only those who are serious about either starting or growing their business. There is a 1-year commitment you have to make. There's no money involved, right? A 1-year commitment that you have to make. And essentially, you have to commit to make 2 sessions per month. Each session is approximately 1 hour. Now, we're going to formulate these masterminds just like the most successful masterminds. Ellen and I have been studying what goes into a successful mastermind groups. They're small. So we're going to limit our groups to 10. So what we'll do is we'll create cohorts of 10. So for the first 10 that register, right, we'll look at them. We'll make sure that there is diversity with regard to their business, because we don't want 10 people, all in the same line of business, in the same mastermind. I mean, imagine if you were, let's say, I don't know, fellas, the fellas that are watching, let's say you all are strippers, okay? And you're trying to grow your stripper business, right? We don't want all 10 of you, in the same mastermind. You're not going to grow your stripping business if you're all in the same master, because you guys can't pull from different pockets of knowledge. So we want to have different folks in the mastermind, right? So long story short is we're going to have diversity in background for the mastermind. We're also going to try to pick people who are at roughly the same level. So if you are starting your business, and we're going to put you with people who are starting your business. If you are 5 years deep into your business, we want to align you with people who are closer to 5 years deep in your business. Long story short is we want to align you with your peers. This is something that I know will be tremendously successful, and this really helps us to really deepen our community, and it helps us to truly do what we've set out to do with Mentor Monday, and that is to help people really with practical advice to achieve their dreams. And this is the way that we're going to do it. So if you are interested in joining a mastermind, Ella has the information right here on the screen. We want you to register. Even if you expressed interest on the last session, please register so we can officially get you. We're going to then begin to put the mastermind groups together. And what's great is everyone is going to connect over a phone call or over Google Hangouts, because it allows for the 10 people to get on the screen at the same time. And we really believe this is going to help to change not just businesses, but change lives. So thank you very much. Looks like everyone's excited about that. Cheers to Ella, and cheers to LaDonna for giving us that idea. So thank you very much. Quick sip. All right, so moving on, what I want to do is I want to just bring on our guests. Actually, before I bring on the guests, let me go through the rules. I know you guys know the rules, but let me just do the rules real quick, okay? Because we have new rules. All right, new rules. All right, so rule number 1 is we know there's no negativity. All right, there's no negativity. And I think we all get that, and everyone has been abiding by that rule. We like that. There's no negativity. Number 2 is that when we have someone asking video questions, and we'll have people asking video questions, we want to make sure that we are supporting them to the fullest. So if there are resources that person needs, if there's insight that person needs, put it in the chat room, connect with them afterwards. Let's make sure that we are supporting our community. That's the real value here of Mentor Monday. Next, we have, do not think about coming on the screen unless you have one of these, right? This is important. If you have a headset, it is very important. Now, I will give you another, please don't do this, is when you come on the screen, be conscious about what's in your background. Because even though there's no negativity, folks will talk about you. I may talk about you a little bit, not negatively, but I may just talk about you in we'll call it a marginally positive way. All right, no negative, marginally positivity, right? So make sure that's all cleaned up. All right, make sure to, fellas, make sure to, I've seen like cracked lips. Take your metrosexual break. Get your chapstick. I got the chapstick. Make sure all of that is smoothed out clean, because let's face it, there's a lot of people who are single that are watching this, and your presentation is everything. Like, your presentation is everything. People are going to be checking out if you got broccoli in your teeth. They're going to be checking out your background. They're going to be checking to see how greased up your forehead is. Like, they're going to be checking all this stuff. So just know that this is just a part of how we interact as humans. So make sure all that's smoothed out. If you need to, take your metrosexual break, just real quick, pop it on. No harm, no foul. Okay, everybody needs chopstick. Everybody needs chapstick. Okay, all right. So next rule 2 next rule too is that we get a lot of freezing when people come on the screen. Sometimes it's freezy, it's choppy, it's not real smooth. Okay, and no, I'm not talking about lips. I'm talking about just the video. It's not smooth. And so what we want to do with that, or to help to cause some resolution there, is shut down all your windows. Okay, shut down all your windows. Only keep your Spreecast window up. That should help. Also refresh. If you get kicked out of the chat or something like that, refresh. That should help. Renita said Paul is on at 10 tonight. This is the crazy thing. I have not really been drinking. Now, check out what I just said. I've not really been drinking. That's how you know someone's already started, but they haven't gone into full mode yet. And so I haven't really been. I've had, honestly, just a couple of sips of this. I'm not drinking any hard stuff, but I just feel good. I feel good because we've got Ronnie and Lamar Tyler on. Okay, so let me give the insight, and let me roll them out properly. Okay, I want to roll Ronnie and Lamar out properly. All right. So here's the thing. And no, I'm not going to make them dance tonight. Okay, I'm not going to make them dance. Although I do say we make them kiss. There's this thing I like. I like to see couples kiss. I am a PDA. I'm a PDA observer. And actually, let me just ask that question. That's a really important question. Is, are you a fan of PDA? Public displays of affection. Are you a fan of that, or no? All right, I see a lot of yeses. LSM Falls called him a voyeur. Hey, I like to watch. All right, but no. So yes, yes. All right. Do we have any folks that don't like? Okay, no. Tamisha says no. All right. I just want to know why you don't like PDA. All right. I just want to know why. I'm just curious. I'm not going to put you on blast. I just want to know if you don't like PDA. I want to know why. Okay. All right. So while that's happening, let me bring these folks on. So here's the deal. The beauty, once again, of Mentor Monday is we get to bring people on who we can learn from, but also have a good time with. And that takes a certain level of character, right? Because let's face it, not everyone who's built a business wants to come on to a session like this and just kind of divulge and share how they did their thing, right? Some people are are close-chested. But Ronnie and Lamar Tyler, I think, are a very interesting couple because going back several years, like going back almost to 2009, when I was, getting going with what I was doing, is one of the first things that I did is I tried to create a web series. And I distinctly remember going out asking people, who the video content providers were, who could I learn from. And I remember at that time I was given the website. I was actually given the website for, I believe it was one of their first movies. It was The Happily Ever After, A Positive Image of Black Marriage. I went to the Facebook page where I was able to learn more about this film. And what was fascinating to me, and I'll tell you what stood out, is first they had like 100,000 plus fans on Facebook. And that just blew me away, right? That they had so many fans on Facebook. I mean, we think about social proof. That was social proof. The next thing that was interesting is I remember reaching out to Lamar at that time, thinking that I would never be able to reach him, never get him. I'd be, 5 people removed. And he, boom, hit me back. And I had a few questions, and boom, he answered the questions. And right there, and I've seen how accessible he's been over the years. And he is one of the folks who've taught me that accessibility is actually a form of currency. It really is. The folks who are most accessible, right, have a value or have a network to them, or a value to them that is at a premium. And he was one of the guys who didn't have to tell me about it. He showed me that. Over the years, watched their success. We corresponded back and forth. Within, I think it was maybe a year and a half ago, in Atlanta, I did my It's Complicated show. Both Ronnie and Lamar came out and they supported me at this show. They waited in this line. We sat and we talked, and I truly appreciated that they came out. And they really, they're married. They didn't have to come hear me talk about singles, but they came out and they took time out of their life to support me. And that meant an awful lot. And so I just want to say, when we think about couples, we always look at, the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's and the, no longer the Paula Pattons and the Robin Thicks, but, we think about these celebrities. We really need to be thinking about people like Ronnie and Lamar Tyler when we think about what marriage is all about, what it's supposed to be. And so this is an honor to have them come on. Ashraf, if we could bring them on, I'd love to. Here we go. Here we go.
Hey,
What's
what's
up,
going
folks?
on?
What's up?
Hello.
Thanks for having us on. Y'all got me checking the background in here, checking, make sure my lips right.
How? I tell you what, you both look good. This is what I've got to ask you guys first is how come every year you two look younger and younger every year? What the hell are you guys doing?
Ronnie?
Haven't I
Wow. Okay. Fair. So I tell you what. You know where I have to start is what do we have for drinks? What do we have going for drinks?
I'm going. I didn't want to let you down. I know sometimes people let you down. I'm going with the Yingling lager and Ronnie's. Come on, Ronnie, show them what you're working with.
Uh-oh.
just a soft drink.
Ronnie's going with the fountain drink, the local racetrack gas station down the block. But I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her because I think she know I would have been somewhat embarrassed if she had her ghetto Moscato on the call with us. I'm wean her off Moscato. I'm trying to like Moscato. I keep telling like Moscato was that what we drinking in college like that Boone's Farm. Moscato is like the grown women's Boone's Farm, so I'm trying to.
It's good.
It is. I tell you what. Now I'm gonna tell you what I just saw. I think folks in the audience saw this. Lamar, when you said that, Ronnie, you looked at him like, "Oh yeah, when we get off of this spreecast, somebody's gonna be in trouble. Somebody's gonna be in trouble tonight." But fair. I tell you what, it's honestly it's a blessing to have you guys on, and I know that when you do interviews, and I tried not to read or listen to lots of interviews from the guests that are going to be on, but I can guess that so many people probably ask you questions around what it's like to be a couple, and working together, and what it's like to be a black couple in particular, working together in this space. But where I really want to go with this conversation is I want to look at the fact that you two are really two of the premier content providers right now that exist, period. If you look at your track record, I mean, it's clear in terms of number of page views, in terms of sales that you've had. What I really want to do is I want to focus this interview around how the audience can create premium content. I mean, how we can create content that people share, that they read, that people buy. And so, just to give everyone a feel, I think everyone knows the story roughly, but if you can give everyone a feel for the success that you've had over the years, not just with regard to the website, right? But with regard to the films, with regard to any of the new media projects that you've put together.
Sure. So I saw we launched the whole thing. It all started with the website, blackandmarriedwithkids.com. December 2007, Ronnie and I were talking about doing a website, doing a blog. We said what's something that we're passionate about. 2-3 years down the line, if it blows up, we still feel like doing it. We'll still be into it. And what that was relationships, talking about relationships. That never gets old, right? And also what we looked at relationships in our community, in the African American community. We felt like so much around it was negativity. We talked about even when we got engaged and we told people we were married or we were getting married, or we saw other people come into the room and say, hey, they were getting married. People would suck their teeth, roll their eyes, tell them don't make the same mistake I made. We said that really shouldn't be the environment. So there has to be a platform where people are excited and celebrate marriage in our community. It has to be a platform where there had to be other happily married couples like us that enjoyed each other, that loved each other, and weren't afraid to say it. So we started with the website 2007. 2009, we said, what can we do to further get the word out there and to get the message out there? Because we felt like we were creating a movement. And that's what we call it. I answered somebody back in the email today, they bought one of our DVDs. I told them, thank you for supporting the movement, because it's a movement to change our images. So we did our first movie, Happily Ever After, in 2009. Started the Facebook page at the same time, and I told Ronnie, I tried to set the expectation bar. So I didn't want to go crazy on me. I said, Ronnie, look, I'm gonna set this Facebook page up. I said, don't get carried away. We got 1 month until it premiere. It was in Northwest DC. We were living in the DC area at the time. I said, we got 1 month until it premiere. I'm shooting for 600 to 700 people on the page within that 30 days. I said, people think you just put up a website, everybody come. It doesn't work like that. Not how it works, Ronnie. Don't want you to get too excited. I try to keep it under wraps. By the end of that 30 days, we had the screening. Instead of 600 or 700 people, there were over 6,000 people who had liked that fan page.
Wow.
And it was all about, again, reinforcing to us that we are tired of the images and the depiction of us that we see out in mainstream media, and these people wanted something else.
So Lamar, a question right there. So, do you think that was more or less a strategy of you both just picking the right content, or was there any marketing that you did around that time to boost those Facebook numbers?
Part of it was, I always tell people, like, your name is so important. Your name is so important, right? Like, whatever you name your business, whatever you're naming your brand. I see Jay Stone, that's my branding expert, one of my mentors in branding, in the call. But what part of it was the name of it. I tell people, like, on Facebook, it's hard to brand around what people don't know. And that's why when we made the first movie, me and Ronnie talked, and we said we want to name the movie something. When people pick up that DVD, they know exactly what it is. And that was the name of the Facebook page, Happily Ever After, A Positive Image of Black Marriage. So if you're down for positive images of black marriage, you'll like this Facebook page. And that's what happened. So between the name, we actually, cross-posted content and created other content, just like our website, Black and Married with Kids, that was positive, that fit on that page. And then at the same time, we started running some Facebook ads. And back then, like, nobody was doing Facebook ads, really. And we started running Facebook ads.
Interesting.
And to segment, I knew our core audience was most time 25 and up, at least on the young side, 25 and up. And really like 30 to 55 is our real sweet spot. And I needed to go after the African-American market because that's where our demo was. But I didn't really have a way to target that demo on Facebook. So me and Ronnie sat down, put our heads together, and what we actually able to do, you could at that time target universities. So I went through and actually targeted those ads to all the HBCUs across the country.
Okay.
And then we did that, and it was a modest investment, maybe like $5 a day. And and that was once we got out of our own circle of family and friends, we did that, and $5 a day, and it spread to those people, and those people spread it to their network of friends, and the things took off from there.
Lamar, let me ask you. This is interesting because I had no idea. That you were doing Facebook ads back in the day. Now, you mentioned only $5 a day. So do you have any idea what the return was on that $5 a day? Can you track it at all?
Yeah, we can. And it's man, it feels like it's like a lifetime ago now, right? But it might have been like 20 or 30 new fans a day.
Okay.
But what it was is it was that exponential result of Facebook. And at the time, Facebook restricts a lot of what you do and who can see your stuff now. But back then it was kind of wide open. So if people liked your page, their friends knew that they liked your page.
Okay.
So, if Ronnie liked it, it would say Ronnie liked Happily Ever After, A Positive Image of Black Marriage. And if she had like-minded friends, they come to the page, see the content we created, and they get on board too.
Okay. Got it. And so now, obviously that was successful, but what about some of the other wins? Because I know the website in particular, you've racked up, millions of views on the website. Also, I've seen other online videos that have had hundreds of thousands of views. So tell us about some of those other wins that you both have had.
Well, I think our strategy with the website began when we started to bring on additional writers for the site. So, and that's really out of our desire just to have a different perspective because, right now we've been married almost 9 years, but we wanted to bring on people that may have been married longer or maybe have been newlyweds just to get different perspectives on marriage. And so we started to bring on writers. And initially that investment, anything that we made from the site, whether it was from ads or things of that nature, we used that to pay and reinvest into the site and pay our writers. And so as we were able to provide more content, then of course we were able to, up the readership, up the page views and things of that nature. So that was a big investment to just bring on writers.
Yeah, and like Ronnie said, everything we made at that time went straight back into the business. So, we weren't, taking it and buying new shoes, taking it and getting fancy at Ruth's Chris that night. Everything went back into the business. And when Ronnie talked about bringing on other writers, people always say, well, I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I can do that. Our original writers that came on, they didn't get paid anything. We didn't have any money to pay them, and they didn't actually want any money. They just were down for the movement.
Got it.
I mean, Eric Payne, E. Payne the Dad, Tara Pringle Jefferson, Tia Cunningham. I mean, they were people, and they were our readers. They were people who left comments all the time. And then we would like reach out and say, hey, you leave great comments. You know, would you like to write something? Or they might reach out to us and say, hey, you know, I'd love to write something. And they were just part of the community. And from that, the community grew. And then once we started to create revenue and we could actually pay the writers, then we started to, you know, give them what we could afford. And they just were down for the cause and for the movement. So that's one of my things I always tell people. You know, don't always think you have to have money for this and have money for that from the very beginning. I mean, sometimes you just have to have the passion around it. And if you have that passion, it draws other like-minded people that are passionate as well, and they'll want to get down with it.
Okay, so maybe let's start right there in terms of what we need to do. So let's assume that someone's watching right now. They've just started a blog or they're thinking about starting a blog. Now, I know right out the gate you mentioned the importance of name, right? What are some of the, you know, if you're breaking it down, steps 1, 2, 3 that we should be doing to begin to create readership for our blogs? So how do we generate those readers that'll come read our content?
I mean, one of the things you really have to do with your content, because creating the content is only step 1. You know, step 2, 3, and 4 is actually marketing that content and getting it out there so people can get eyeballs on it. And I know, like, there's some great, we have, like, Writing Fuss now, some great writers. Man, I'm not a great writer. I'm like a straight up blogger. I tell you, like, dude, I blog. Like, I'm not a writer. I'm not pretending I'm a writer. I'm that guy. Like, if nobody's reading, I'm not writing anymore. So when I write something, somebody has to read it because I feel like I'm wasting my time. So when you know, if you're writing and you're starting a site, the first thing you have to do once you create that piece of content is get it out there. Get it out there in front of your family. Get it out there in front of your friends. Get it out there in your network. Don't be afraid to ask people to read it. When we start, you know, I would email people and say, hey, you know, it's a great article on the site. I think you would like it today to my brothers and I wouldn't send it to the same people every day, but I just think, okay, who would like this maybe that I can send it to them and they might look at it a few times. So it's just not me and Ronnie and our mamas looking at the site every night, you know, but some other people. Right. And then, like, you know, we did. Don't be afraid to invest. You know, that $5 a day, that really was the ignition that we got to move beyond our immediate circle of friends and family. So it was at the time, you know, what we could do, what we were able to do, and how to, you know, kind of grow and get outside of that circle. Something else we did, another investment in those early days, we used to invest and run ads on other websites. So those websites weren't Essence or Ebony. It just would be, you know, XYZ blog that had a similar demographic to reach African Americans within that age group that we were looking for to read our site. We knew if we got them from that site to our site, we could retain a portion of them, and it might be $50 a month to run an ad on their sidebar all month, or it might be $75 a month. And as long as we knew at the end of that 30 days, we'd have more readers than we started with, we were good to go.
Okay, so that's how you were tracking your success. Was it by readership? Are we looking at page views? Were you looking at shares? How were you determining you were winning?
Yeah, so it was readership, because when we started, I mean, there really weren't shares like that. Like we started kind of at the end of the MySpace hustle. So everybody was on MySpace. So I mean, we first started, we were trying to get the MySpace page up and get a lot of followers. I don't even remember what they were called on MySpace, but you know, the people that followed you on MySpace. So there wasn't social sharing like there is now, but yeah, it was all about readers. You know, we were looking at our month to month, you know, how many visitors are we having, and that thing was growing. It was growing month by month, so we knew we headed in the right direction, and that's what kind of fused. It's something I talk about. Ronnie know what I'm about to say because she's looking at me like that. Yeah. And she just kind of give me something else, some other signal.
No, no.
She was giving you a signal though. She was giving you a signal.
I thought she was trying to get that kiss in. We heard that part, but yeah, you know. But I mean, you know, this. So you know, here and you just, you know, do what you can, get your content out there, get in front of as many people as you can, and don't be afraid to let the world know that it exists.
Got it. All right, I'm gonna tell you. I just want to say this real quick because you know I've been married for a little while too. This is a real couple right here. This is how you know this is a strong married couple because Lamar looks scared of Ronnie. You see, every time he like peeks at her.
I'm a grown man. I ain't scared of nobody, right, man?
All right, fair. That's fair. All right, so here's the thing. This is interesting. So you guys used not traditional advertising, but use advertising to grow the content. So let's break down the content a little bit right now because you are producing lots and lots and lots of blog posts in particular. What do you think some of the key ingredients are to a successful post? You know, is it title? Is it image? Is it the length of the post. I mean, when you think about your most successful pieces right now, what are the commonalities in them?
I mean, I think you hit on a lot of the things that are important. I mean, definitely the title. And so Lamar and I, we mull over the titles a lot. Every day, we're for every article, we're kind of debating on what's the best title, because if it's something that's interesting, then people will click on it and open it. So I think definitely it's the title. And
Okay.
Lamar, I mean, that's how he writes. He comes up with the title first, and then he writes the the article. So.
Okay. So, and let's
And like
stop
Ronnie
right
said,
there real quick.
especially
I'm sorry. Yeah, can you go deeper on the title? Like, is it because I see people putting numbers in titles all the time? What makes for a great title?
and well, like Ronnie said, like the title in this day and age with social sharing is so important. Because on Twitter, you see that 140 characters. The main thing you see is the title. The main thing you see on Facebook is the title. So we tell people, we can have a great article, a great amazing article, but if the title doesn't grab them and they don't click through whatever it is to come read that actual article, it doesn't matter what the body of it is if the title doesn't get there.
Okay.
So numbers are good. People say I hate lists. I'm tired of seeing so many lists, but guess why you see so many lists? Because people read them. So anything you see a lot of and you say you're tired of seeing it and there's so much out there, it's a reason why people do it, because people actually read and they love those lists even though they say they don't do it. But it's a balance to anything. You can we do galleries and slideshows on the site, but we sometimes you just want to make sure it's a good balance to what you do. Numbers are good. There's research that shows, sometimes doing an odd number like 13 or 37 or 63 is better than just doing 5 or 10, because that catches people's attention.
Interesting.
What we do a maybe bi-monthly or quarterly conference call with our writers, and something I shared with them the other day. One of the best way to get headlines is actually to get them while you're in the grocery store, in the supermarket, in the checkout line, because the best headline writers in the world write for the tabloids. They write for these major magazines. And just think about how many times you've been there with your milk and bread and you see a title and you're like, I mean, it looks ridiculous, and the stuff is true, but you pick it up and you read it and you open it up because you want to see what it says.
That's true.
So a lot of times when I'm in the grocery store, I'll take pictures of those covers and then I'll come home and say, okay, I like that title. It grabbed my attention. How can I flip that into marriage and parenting? So it might have said 10 super fantastic ways to
pick nail polish or something.
Yeah, to pick nail polish while you're sexy on the beach or something, but I might be able to flip it to a certain different number of ways to meet the needs of your spouse when you're both mad at each other. And just those different ways. Use those people that are the best in the world and craft your own content around it.
All right, I like it. Look at what's not broken. So then, outside of title, what's next in terms of importance on popular content?
I definitely say title. Definitely, then once they get into the article, deliver. So don't say super fantastic tips on dating, and then you get into the article, and then it's like a letdown and it's dry.
And your tips are whack.
Yes.
Don't do that.
And so definitely deliver. And I think at least for our site, from our perspective, we're not too worried. We're not going to go and just have like a dissertation or something like that. We're around maybe 700 words or so, but a nice opening, and then we that basically get to the point. We're going to deliver the content to you. It's definitely the images as well, and so we've definitely invested in purchasing the stock photos and the images and things of that nature. Pinnable images are hot now. And quotes and things of that nature. So we're embedding those into our articles. So things like that, I would say.
Yeah, and just piggybacking on what Ronnie said, also a lot of this has to do with your audience, right? And the people that are actually coming out and reading. So there are some sites you may say, okay, how come this site, their article is only 200 words, but they get so much interaction? Or this other site, they have like young dissertations on their site every time they do an article, but they get all these comments and things because that's the relationship they have with their audience. So when you're building a site, you have to try out different things, try out some images, maybe try out some vlogs, which are those video posts, like, YouTube kind of created videos and put those out there. You may want to try short form and long form articles and see what really resonates with your audience. Because your audience, they'll let you know what works. Once you see the traffic come, once you see the comments come, they'll let you know what works. Then once you find out what works, then you kind of stay in that lane.
So is it really traffic and comments? Are those the two key indicators of successful content?
with us, we really look at traffic a lot of times, and I think it all depends on your content as well. Because us, with a lot of relationship type of things we run, people read it, but they may not necessarily want to comment, and they may not necessarily want their name attached to it because it's personal, intimate things going on in their relationship. So it kind of changes from time to time, but we can always see who comes to that content. One of the most important things I want to leave with your audience is making sure you have some type of analytics program. One of the best out there is called Google Analytics. It's totally free. Analytics.google.com. You can go there, sign up, get the code, put it on your page. It'll tell you how to do it. And once you put that on your page, you can track who's coming to your site, whether they're using mobile devices, whether they're using computers, and most importantly, what's the content they're actually coming to read. And then, I see a lot of people create content around emotion, like what they think people want to see. You don't have to guess about what people want to see. Just look at what they're actually reading. Look at what's most popular on your site, what type of content really resonates, what type of content is driving people to it, and create more of that type of content.
I love it. So does this apply also to video and audio as well? Is it the title? Is it the length of it? What's really, how does video and audio distinguish itself in terms of, like, how do we grow that versus the static blog content?
I think with us, we follow a lot of those same rules. So the content we create through video, through film, is for that same audience. And then you have to realize as well that you're not the big boys. So when we make a movie, compared to when 20th Century Fox makes a movie, and they're going to run commercials for 2 months, and you're going to see maybe 60 touches of that commercial, and then it's going to maybe on the 55th time get you to say, hey, I want to go see that movie. With something we run on the internet, you might see it one time on Clutch. You might stumble around, like one of your boys might share it, or one of your girlfriends might share it one time. So we have to make an impact in that one time and make sure we deliver the content, make sure it hooks you, make sure we have somewhere to drive you at the end of that trailer, so it sends you online to talk about it, sends you to a website, it sends you to a purchase page. It's just a lot more that we have to think about. So a lot of times what Ronnie and I do is we sit down and we think about, okay, how do the big boys do it? And then how can we deconstruct that to make it work for us?
All right. I love it. All right, there's one more topic I want to get into, then I want to open up the floor to questions, because I know a lot of folks have questions. My question is this, though, my last question. How do we make money from this? Like, how do we start to monetize the content? Because, like, we need to buy, like Lamar, we need to buy more beer. So how do we monetize and talk from the perspective of someone who's just launched a blog? It's just their mama, reading it right now. How do they begin to monetize what they have?
Okay. First thing I would say is get ads out of your head. Get ads out of your head. One more time, get ads out of your head. Most of the time what we hear as bloggers, and when we go to different conferences and workshops and read online, all we hear about is ads, ad revenue. Most people will never make enough with ad revenue to live off of and be able to support themselves off of their blog. Ronnie and I, this is what we do full time. We run our company full time. We both left 6-figure positions, and now our company supports us.
Wow.
So, this is what we do. So, want you to get that out of your head, and then think of instead of that, okay, think about products, think about services, different things you can offer your readers, and let's really think about ways we can make our readers into our customers. Because once you make your readers into your customers, then you don't have to focus on ad revenue, which ad revenue goes up and down. I tell people the best thing and the worst thing about ads is you can have an amazing traffic, and you can, traffic can spike up, get all these page views and make all this money. But the worst thing is when the first of the month rolls around, because then you start from scratch all over again. But when you build a customer base, you have people buying your products and services, and as long as you deliver what they want, as long as you're giving them great products and services, they're going to always want more. Okay. And then that's people, you have them in your life cycle. So when we talk about multiple streams of revenue, making sure that, products, services, affiliate sales, which is just once you have an audience, you can actually sell other people's products and services to your audience. We actually have an affiliate program for our films and DVDs. So other people, if they have a large following around marriage, around relationships, things like that, and they have an email list or large traffic, they can actually sell our products to their audience and get a commission of our sales. Nice. It's just a lot of different things you can do.
Right, right. I mean, I think the biggest thing that we did when we first started out is just to make sure that you establish yourself and build that trust with your readers. And I think, definitely you need to focus on that before you focus on trying to make money from them at first. That's what we did personally.
Okay.
Have a way to capture emails and get in contact with your readers, because if Facebook shuts you down or if Twitter shuts you down, you're going to want to make sure that you can still contact your readers. And so your email list is yours, and you're not having to worry about Facebook edge rank and whether or not they can see your things on Facebook. So focus on your email list, and just definitely those multiple streams of income. We write for other sites.
Freelance writing.
Yes, we have our own products, and we market them. That's a big way that we make our money, is we market our products.
Exactly. One of the things I want to share with your audience real quick is I talk about the power of 1,000, and I want everybody to just pay attention real closely to this. So most people start blogs, they have this number in their head that if I get to X amount of people, I'll be paid. Maybe it's 10,000 readers a month, maybe it's 100,000 people on Facebook, maybe it's 20,000 people on Twitter. But when we speak at different conferences, I'll ask the bloggers in the room, well, how many of you have an audience of at least 1,000 people? Right. And almost everybody's hand goes up. So I'm talking about between Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, your site, combined, 1,000 people. And almost everybody's hand goes up. And I try to tell them, 1,000 people, if you can turn that 1,000 readers into 1,000 customers, and they all pay at least $100 to you throughout the course of a year, that's a six-figure business.
Right.
Really that simple. Absolutely. 1,000 people paying $100. And what does that look like? That can look like a continuity program where it's a membership program every month for $8 and some change. It could be one $100 program. It could be 4 ebooks spread out throughout the course of the year, one every quarter, and you got people paying $25 for each one. Or a webinar, $25 for each webinar, 4 webinars. So really all you need is 1,000 people who are passionate about what you're passionate about, who believe in what you're saying, and really to buy into your vision because you position yourself as that expert or that person they want to come to and spend their money with. You have a six-figure business. You can walk away from that job you hate every day, spend more time with your kids, and enjoy your life.
Well, I love it. The power of 1,000. I will never forget that. The power of 1,000. I love it. I love it. So I tell you
now,
what.
Paul, if I see you using that on OWN one night, pretending like it's yours, I'm coming after you.
I know it. I know it. The power of 1,000. Lamar and Ronnie Tyler came with it. So, but no. But you know what? That makes all the sense in the world, though. I mean, like, really, what you just said is you really simplified it, because we all have the ability to go out and acquire 1,000 customers. We all do. So I love it. So let's do this. Questions. Ashraf, let's get the first video question on. Folks, let's remember headsets. Okay? We're going to take as many questions as we can. Let's do one quick question. Make it succinct, quick question, and we're out. Okay? So Ashraf's queuing up the first person. Sean Haran says, make sure you get the chapstick. So folks, make sure that you got the chapstick ready before you come on. All right? So let's get the first question. All right. Okay, Letitia's coming up. All right, someone's coming up right now. Let's see here. So I tell you what, while this person's coming up, let me ask. So let's say that you just started, though. You just started blogging. Is it reasonable to think that within a year you could have acquired 1,000 customers and you're blogging part-time? So you've got a full-time, but you're blogging part-time. Mm-hmm. I mean, is that a reasonable expectation? 1 year, 1,000 customers?
Yeah, if you start with that as your actual focus. The problem is most people don't start with that as their focus. They start with advertising as their focus. But the thing is, you can have 10,000 people come to your site a month and still not make enough money to pay your mortgage every month. So, if you start off and you say, okay, what I want to do is I want to first try to build an email list. So I want to have, when you go to a website and they have some type of opt-in where they want your email in exchange for an ebook or exchange for a video or exchange for a webinar. That's how people build their list. Then once you build that list, what you want to do is nurture those people until they're ready to buy. Then when they're ready to buy, you offer a product or service. Hopefully they buy it at that time. If not, you keep nurturing them and giving them great information until they are ready to buy. But that's when you start to work that power 1,000.
Got it. Okay. That's it. While we have the person queuing up, I saw Katrina Brunson ask a question. Oh, Chris is coming on. Let me ask this question real quick for Katrina. Is Chris, what's up, man? Is Katrina asked, how often should you publish content? Some people I hear, some people say you should do it every day, every third day. How often should we be publishing content?
I don't know. I'll let Ronnie, but I think it depends on, again, your audience, but it should be on a regular basis. If people, you have to really set a consistency type of deal where people expect it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Monday and Wednesday, Friday, you need to be publishing. Everybody can't just start necessarily publish 5 days a week. But again, if you don't mind having other voices on your site, that may be an opportunity for you to have guest blogs where other people actually write content and you share it with your readers on your days off, on the days that you don't write content. And we use WordPress. We highly recommend WordPress. That's the platform that we actually use the blog on. If you can write an email, you can write a blog post in WordPress. Use WordPress, you actually can schedule content. So between what you write and taking guest submissions from other people, you can schedule, get all that stuff in, schedule all your content for the week or 2 weeks or the month or whatever you want to do and go from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I mean,
Okay,
it
I
just
love
depends
it.
on what your objective is, and just be consistent with it.
Okay, consistency wins. Thank you. So Chris Kazi Rowe is on. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Yo, I've been watching like 3 or 4 shows, and this is like the best show. So much content and so much tips and information. Thank you guys so much. So this question goes to you guys, but also to you, Paul. The choice to focus on black people. The choice to focus on black people. I know it's a crazy question, but sometimes, in starting a business, you always think, man, I gotta hit the masses. I gotta hit, the people with the money. Diverse communities. How do you make the choice tell me about your strategy to focus on a particular group? And this is also to you, Paul, if you could chime in, because I think, from my vantage point, it seems like you have a different diverse group. So just curious what you guys' thoughts are.
This is a great question.
That's a great question.
I'm opening a second beer to that question. That's a great question.
All right.
That's a great. If I can lead off, Michelle Talbot, she just said "Black love rules, baby," and that's pretty much how we came up with the strategy. No, really. What we did is that's something we struggled with a lot in the beginning because we created the site, but it's always people saying, well, if you diversified, made it out to everybody, the site would be bigger. And if you made it and changed it to this, that may scare some people off. And then we'd always get emails, why I gotta be black and married with kids? What if it was white and married with kids? Would you be mad? No, we don't care. So all these different things. I think probably one of the biggest things that happened to us, we do through our site, we do some work with General Mills, and they invited us out to the Hoodie Awards, to Steve Harvey's Hoodie Awards in Las Vegas. They were one of the big sponsors. We didn't know what to expect at the Hoodie Awards. But we go to Vegas, and as soon as we hit the airport, signage, banners everywhere for the hoodies. It was at the Mandalay Bay. We get to the Mandalay Bay, signage, people everywhere. Every event we went to was totally packed out. Frankie Beverly and Maze performed, maybe 12,000 people in there, spending money, grown, 100% African American. So we walked away, and not to mention all the sponsors, all the big boy sponsors was there as well. So that really showed us that, okay, you can be as successful as you want to be as large as you want to be, because we spend the money. A lot of time that money goes outside of our community. People say, we always say, well, black people don't want to spend as much. It's hard to get black people to spend money. Really? They buy our products. So maybe it's the way you're marketing to them. Maybe you don't know how to market to black people. So I think it really just depends on what lane you're in. But what I will say is that audience is there. That audience is underserved. I 100% put a lot of our success on the fact that we're talking to people that nobody else wants to talk to. When we go and screen a film, we screen a movie, we sell out every city we go to, 350-seat theaters. In D.C., we don't even screen in D.C. anymore. We go to PG County, to the public playhouse where they got a 500-seat movie house. A 500-seat playhouse, and then we sell that out and add additional shows. And people don't know, not like we Spike and Tanya Lewis Lee. They don't know us. They just know we're coming with positive images of African Americans. They don't see it. They won't get it on a lot of the networks out there. Nobody's throwing glasses at each other. Nobody's throwing heels. They're not boxing at pajama parties. There's none of that stuff. So we're underserved. So we say, okay, we'll try to be the brand for the black community instead of trying to be everything for everybody.
Right. Yeah. Right. And I think another thing to that is it's just that it's needed. People always say, well, marriage is marriage, but no, it's not. I feel like 90% of our content does relate to the general population, but there's that 10%. And there are those issues that are near and dear to us and our community. And there are things that we need to address within our community. So from a strategic perspective, yes, I feel like we did a good job with sticking to our niche and focusing in on African Americans. But really, this is something that our community needs. And we can't have everybody saying, oh, we're all the same, because they're not going to talk about the things that we think are important. And they're not going to talk about how we feel when one of our kids, gets murdered out there in the street. Go out to their sites and see if they're talking about it, not in the way that we, need it to be talked about, or the things that are going on with our children and things of that nature. So it really, really bugs me to hear people say all marriage is the same, because it really isn't. I mean, even from when you go out to our site, go look at the front page, look at the images. They're Black people loving each other, hugging each other, and things of that nature. You're not going to get that on the other sites. And we really need to know in our community that we love each other and that marriage is an option. And so, yeah, we're making money from this, but it's also a passion. It's something that we're purposely doing, to support our community.
This is, I'm going to tell you what, this honestly, and Kaz, I'm not just saying this because, because we're boys, but this is probably one of the best questions that we've ever had. And this is the type of environment that allows us to talk about this, because I don't think we talk about this enough in our community around should we try to sell product out or in. I'll give you my quick perspective is I consciously selected not to label what I do. All right. Now, why did I do that? I did that specifically so that I would be able to widen the opportunities that I thought I had, right? So I didn't label it, but I'll tell you what I did do, or what I have done, is you could see actually by scrolling through the 226 people that are on right now, probably 225 are Black, okay, right? You could go to my blog and you're going to see images, you're going to see African American, mostly African American images, right? Everything that I do really for people who look like me. But at the same time, I've selected not to label it. And what I've noticed in not labeling it, and this is just, my take on it, is I feel like the opportunity has been greater for me personally by not placing the exact label, but yet by generating the content that specifically, looks and feels for us. But this is something that, quite honestly, I debate openly with my team. I debate it with my wife all the time, and it's something that I think is interesting because I think there are certain products, certain services that that need to be directed specifically at us. But then I also believe that there's certain products and services that don't need to come with the label. And a lot of us get when I say a lot of us, a lot of Black folk get so caught up sometimes in saying, okay, I'm not going to go after the whole dollar. I'm just going to go after this little part of the dollar. And what I say is, when be smart about it, be strategic about it, and if you're producing a product where you can go after the whole dollar, go after the whole dollar. But this is a great question. And I tell you what, I actually wish we had more time to debate it, but I want to get some other folks on. But Chris, thank you, man. Great question. Great question.
Last thing, you too, man. While I got you, you three are my biggest inspirations. Really, there are a lot of people in the space, but you three really people I follow, and that's why I wanted to get on and ask this question to you specifically, because this is a big challenge I'm having, and I look to you guys for what you do for a lot of my inspiration. So salute.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, I tell people we followed our passion and led us to our purpose, and by default, it created a profit for us at the same time. So follow your passion, you'll end up in the right spot.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, this is the crazy thing. I can't even bring anybody else on. We're out of time. we are out of time. Like, this is crazy. But Chris hit us with like the heat right there. So let's just use this closing to say. So I want to ask one final question, and then I want to make sure that we get all of your upcoming projects so we can support all your projects. For bloggers out there right now who have been working on a blog days, months, years, and they're just not getting traction. They're feeling like, I don't know if this is for me. what words of encouragement, advice would you give them tonight?
I'd say don't underestimate the worth of building your network. People always say, I want to learn how to blog. What should I do? I want to meet other people. Go to a conference. Go to a workshop in your local city. Go to one of the larger ones. I know you guys are doing some things with Bloglicious. We've been all 5 previous years. The conferences are where we meet people. And it doesn't have to be somebody huge. It can be somebody the same size as us, but that's where we meet people to do guest posts. That's where we meet people to write. That's where we meet people we can share content with and promote each other. And what I would also say is that you got to have that crush. I heard somebody earlier told me to shout that out, right? So I say for crush for me is that CRUSH, just they can't rest until something happens. So most of our audience, they have children, they have jobs. So this is not something, they're not trust fund, babies, and they sitting there, they're just doing this in their free time. They're starting at 9 o'clock at night when the kids go to bed. So you have to have that crush. That crush is that anxious energy that propels you to keep moving forward when you're tired, when you're ready to give up. And maybe that day somebody left a comment when nobody ever leaves a comment. And that's the crush. That's what you need to get to the next level. Maybe it's, getting a little bit of media attention. Or somebody you like just following you on Twitter. Use that to fuel you to get to the next level because you can't give up. I always say, if it takes you 5 years to blow up and maybe have this huge blog that becomes an iconic brand, and you give up in year 4, what do you get? Nothing. Nobody cares. Nobody will know you. Nobody will even know you have existed after a few years. Don't give up. Keep trying. Keep pushing. God bless. Go ahead, Ronnie. Take it from me.
Oh, God.
I'm out.
He said, I'm done.
Walk off. Anybody ever walked off a Mentor Monday? I'm out. Go ahead, Ronnie. What you got, man?
You said it. You summed it all up. I mean, you definitely have to have that crush. You have to have that passion. And Lamar and I, we run this as a business. I mean, it's serious. Like he said, we both gave up 6-figure jobs to do this, and we have replaced that income. You can best believe that. Okay, we work around the clock, we work hard, and we reinvest. But you just have to put the work in it.
Wow, I love it. Upcoming projects. Give us 3 upcoming projects that you're working on that you want everybody to support.
So we have an online relationship academy launching soon for singles and couples. We do provide content for singles that want to one day get married. So we have that information for you on the site. We have 2 films we're releasing this year. One on blended families, which are step families. There's a hot topic nobody talks enough about. So we'll be releasing that towards the fall. And we have another on the lack of generational wealth in the African American community, speaking straight to something that needs to be addressed in our community. So we have that. And we did just want to mention, I saw Ella put it out there earlier, we do have a free 8-part video series. So if you're interested in how to have an unbreakable relationship, free video series on our site, blackandmarriedwithkids.com.
Got it. Love it. I tell you what, I have never seen so many people before we've ended a Mentor Monday demand a part 2. I've never seen so many people asking for a part 2. So we're going to have you guys back for a part 2. I tell you what, I love both of you. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being open. Thank you for being authentic. And thank you for just kicking ass, because we need more folks kicking ass. So thank you very much for that. And we're going to have you guys back for a part 2. Okay, thank you. All right, everybody say good night to Ronnie and Lamar. And I tell you what, for the closeout, what I want to do, just as we're closing out, is, this was an incredible session. You know what? This was so good that I actually didn't have time to drink my beer. I mean, I was glued in. I mean, this was incredible. I want to announce our next guest. This is really important. I think our next guest is the perfect follow-up, actually, to Lamar and Ronnie. Our next guest is none other than award-winning director Ava DuVernay. Yes, Ava DuVernay will be our next guest. She's directed episodes of Scandal. She won at the Sundance Film Festival. She is going to be an incredible guest, and I think she's actually the perfect follow-up. Make sure that you RSVP March 17th at 9 p.m. Once again, 9 p.m., not 10 p.m. We're moving to 9 p.m. so that the mastermind groups can meet at 10 p.m. So 9 p.m. is the new time. I want to say we learned so much. Be sure to read the recap. We're going to put all of the show notes into the recap. Lamar and Ronnie dropped some tremendous knowledge, so we're going to make sure that we put that in the recap. And if you have any desire, right, to get serious about your business, I encourage you to join the mastermind groups. I really think this is going to be something special. So make sure that you join the mastermind groups. Everyone, God bless. Have an incredible week. Go out, kick some ass, and we'll see you on March 17th. Have a good night.